Hello and welcome to the inside of my van, and as you can see I haven't done anything about progressing with finishing the internal decoration of it, but never mind. That's not what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to have a look at the situation in the UK where campsites are allegedly reporting massive amounts of bookings for July and August. And I think there's a number of reasons for this, and which I'm now going to look at. Now, for myself, since this health emergency started, I have been more or less in isolation. Not deliberately in isolation, I would say. It's really just the sort of thing, the way it happened. When it first started in January, I was in a place called Aulendorf in south-western Germany. I then was on a campsite in Munich. I was then on somebody's drive in Augsburg. I stayed at a motorhome Stellplatz in northern Bavaria. Then I crossed the border into Poland. Oh, sorry, I was in Bautzen as well on a Stellplatz. Then I crossed the border into Poland, and I spent 6 weeks at a place called Camp 4U, which is near Wrocław. In that period, I crossed just before the quarantine requirements were put in, and as far as I was concerned, I was on the campsite, and there I was in self-quarantine. From there, I travelled across the country, stopping at a couple of places en route, again in someone's garden and my own place, and then I found my way to where I am now. I went into a city for the first time since Munich when I was in mid February. A couple of days ago, which is Radom in Poland, and it was rather strange for me to actually be in the city after not having been in one for such a long time. But going into a bank with a mask on, and then I didn't know how to behave, so I thought the proper thing to do is I went to the cash desk, I took my mask off, then put it back on again. And that seemed to it does say actually in the instructions to the commentary on the law on the Polish website that you have to take it off if required to by the police or somebody, a cashier. So I did that. Now coming back to the UK, obviously campsites have been closed and all the rest of it, but now there is a sort of this boom in bookings is probably due first of all to the fact that the much talked about agreement with France, that there would be an agreement between the two countries that would allow people to visit each other, that is now accepted, that is possibly or probably not going to happen at all. So, and according to Matt Hancock, who is the Health Secretary, he said that holidays abroad will be cancelled, and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office continues to advise against all but essential travel, and probably going away somewhere in your camper van isn't considered essential travel. I don't know, but it probably isn't. Another thing is within the hotel industry is that hotels don't know how they can react. For example, let's suppose they were allowed to open, but how do they maintain things like social distancing? And people who go to a hotel don't want just to rent a room. Normally they go over there for the infrastructure which is around that hotel room or hotel. It could be the swimming pool, it could be the sauna, it could be the wellness, it could be the restaurant, or whatever it is. And maintaining that within a social distancing is very difficult. So the hotels may even take the opinion that it's not worth opening, even though they can, because they have to hire the staff, and the cost to the income ratio might not work out for them. But as far as campsites are concerned, we've got a different situation, because people take their own room with them, and they're supposed to clean their own room out as well, and the campsite is offering you a place to stay, so you're renting your pitch, so to speak. But then in many cases, or possibly even most cases, people are then doing individual tourism by themselves. It could be out walking or go using the boat or hiring a boat or fishing or whatever. So it's a totally different situation. Now, according to the website Cool Camping, which is it does as a guide and has reservations, they have reported a large amount of bookings for July, August and September, and this was following the announcement by the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson that that there would be easing of restrictions. Now, obviously, the government didn't say anything about camping and camper vans, but I think that one can assume that as we're already maintaining restrictions, if you like, being in a camper van, that there will be no further restrictions placed on campsites. So I think that is something which is a little bit on the positive side. Now, according to the founder of Cool Camping, Jonathan Knight, he was quoted in the Daily Telegraph as saying that there does seem to be a pent-up demand for camping, with consumers having waited for guidance that lockdown measures might be eased before booking. And now we're in May, and it's probably the time when most people are thinking of doing a booking anyway. So, not knowing what the hotel situation is, I am going to predict that there will be a massive amount of interest in renting vans. So should you actually have a van, it's on your drive and you're not intending on using it in the summer, then why not contact one of the rental companies which will rent it out for you. So just as an idea. Now, holiday parks are also sort of preparing summer reopening. Centre Parks is set to extend the closure of holidays parks in the UK and Ireland beyond the 11th of June, but it's hoping to reopen with social distancing in place. But when you start thinking, okay, in the UK the school holidays are a bit later than they are in most places in continental Europe, but it's difficult to see how they can put social distancing in. So that's why I believe that the motorhomes, camper vans, RVs in general, are going to see even more popularity now. Now, what is it if you're going to buy one? Well, you're going to have problems. The only way you're going to buy one is buy it through the second-hand market, and that I'm sure the prices will have shot up by now. That's what I believe anyway. Right, so finally I should to make a little statement, is that I said I'd try and do something about the coronavirus every day, and I would have kept that up, because I've got lots and lots of ideas and things, but the problem is with internet access. I just don't have fast enough internet access to actually upload things. So if I do something with just me in it, and put it in a lower quality, and then I can let it upload from my mobile phone as I'm walking around. But if it's, for example, I don't know, something I've actually filmed outside or something like that, that is much more difficult. And a couple of other little points I think I also make as well. Thank you to everybody who wrote to me when I was ill. And personally, I did not believe it was coronavirus. I thought the symptoms weren't there. I still don't know what I had. What it was some kind of influenza, I suppose, but I don't know. But I mean, certainly it came and went far too quickly for coronavirus. One of the effects, though, was it made me very tired, and I still haven't really got over that tiredness, and I'm still sleeping like about 10 hours a day, which is admittedly it's coming down, because at the height of the illness it was probably nearer to 15 hours when I think about it, but all the same, I'm still sleeping quite a lot. I'm not, however, going to sleep now during the day, which is one positive thing. When I was ill, I was sort of switching between the two. And so that, and finally, a last point is, I get lots of people writing to me asking me about renting motorhomes, and buying motorhomes, and they send me long emails with their requirements and this kind of thing. Please, I honestly do not have time to respond to every single message like this, so please don't send me a personal message. If you've got a question about something you want to rent or want to buy, put it into the into the comments, because then lots of other people will see it and you might get some assistance like that. So please do it that way. Thanks very much for listening, and let's hope there will indeed be a boom on the RV market, but not just in the RV market. I want to see everybody do well. I want to see the hotel market do as well. Thank you.